Listen up, boys. It's 2026, and the truth about defending your home has changed. The old ways? Dead. If you think an old, rusty piece of junk on your nightstand makes you a protector, you're living a fantasy that'll get you killed. When that first sound of forced entry cracks the quiet at 3 in the morning, that weapon ain't just metal and polymer. It's the only damn thing between your bloodline and becoming a police statistic. With logistics shaky and criminals getting tactical, your tool needs to scream raw, absolute authority. I'm cutting through the brochures and ignoring the paid shills. We're peeling back the marketing to look at the hardware that has earned a reputation for being untouchable. These are the silhouettes that make bad guys run. The engineering that sounds like a death sentence when you rack the slide. And the ballistics that end confrontations fast. This ain't some top 10 fluff piece. This is survival doctrine for the armed citizen who gets it. If you're watching, you know the supply chains are brittle and steel quality is the only thing that matters when diplomacy fails. Get ready to be uncomfortable, because we're dissecting the metal and polymer that keeps the predators honest. Staccato Bar. Sig P365 AXG Legion. We kick off with a platform that completely rewrote the rules for defensive compact pistols on the market right now. This is the Sig P365 AXG Legion. But I'll be blunt, this ain't your grandpa's cheap polymer pea shooter that feels like plastic trash in your mitts. This thing is a professional-grade combat machine SIG designed for the defender who demands full-service performance packed into a chassis that won't snag in the claustrophobia of a dark hall. Plenty of purists whine that metal is dead, but hold this thing. The weight is a tactical advantage plastic can never touch. The AXG stands for Alloy X Series Grip. That's where the engineering separates itself. While the industry was chasing lighter guns, meaning more violent recoil, SIG carved this frame from solid aluminum. That extra mass ain't an accident. It's a physical countermeasure. It drives the center of gravity into your palm, building an immovable foundation that eats up the impulse from 9mm defensive ammunition. But the real dirty secret the competition hates is in the slide. SIG baked in a 2-port expansion chamber, basically a structural compensator, that vents high-pressure gas upward the microsecond the bullet leaves the muzzle. This creates literal downward vector force, keeping the muzzle flat and your sights glued to the target. In a high-stress situation where your adrenaline is making your hands shake, that flat-shooting nature lets you dump rounds back-to-back way faster than any standard micro-compact allows. And then there's capacity, which is the life currency in 2026. The old argument that 5 or 6 shots are enough has been buried with the fools who believed it. This Legion variant feeds from 17-round flush-fit magazines, and plenty of domestic operators are already running 21-round extensions. We're talking overwhelming volume of fire in a package weighing under 2 pounds. While the Legion is a surgical instrument for the close fight, the next piece is what you need when you want the pure, unadulterated dominance of a custom race gun. Staccato P. Moving to number 2, we step into what I call functional art for the modern defender. This is the Staccato P, and it represents the absolute peak evolution of the 2011 platform. If you haven't dealt with this architecture, think of it as the little brother, faster, juiced up, and much deadlier, of the legendary 1911. While those old single-stack 45s belong in museums, the 2026 landscape demands more capacity, more reliability, and superior biomechanical accuracy. The Staccato P delivers that by chasing the world's most famous ergonomics, with a double-stacked frame chambered in 9mm, built for war. Let's talk about why an intruder should feel absolute terror facing an owner wielding this thing. It all starts and ends at the trigger. We aren't talking about a decent striker-fired pull with mushy travel and an uncertain break. The Staccato P presents a razor-sharp 4-pound vertical break that feels like snapping a glass rod. In a high-intensity defensive encounter where your fine motor skills degrade, that short, predictable reset trigger is your best friend. It lets you place shots with neurosurgeon precision across a dark room, ensuring every round hits exactly where your red dot is floating, with zero parasitic movement. It's mechanically like buying talent. The Staccato P is designed to work harder than the shooter. It features a bull barrel, a heavy barrel, that measures 4.4 inches. That extra mass up front isn't for looks. It acts as a physical counterbalance to muzzle rise. When you break the shot, the heavy barrel keeps the gun's nose down, transforming recoil into a smooth linear push into your palm instead of a snap. This allows the shooter to track their sights through the entire slide cycle. Add in professional-grade 17 or 20-round magazines and a built-in rail for the hottest lights on the market, and this $2,500 gun doesn't just defend a home, it dominates it. It's the difference between fighting for your life and ending the fight on your terms. Now, that Staccato is pure custom-grade performance, but sometimes you need industrial persuasion. Remington 870 Police Magnum. Here we pivot from the surgical tool to the industrial sledgehammer. The Remington 870 Police Magnum. Even in this tech-heavy era of 2026, with all our holographic sights and electronic triggers, there is a primal fear associated with this specific piece of steel that nothing else can replicate. The Police Magnum is the overbuilt variant, born in a dedicated section of the factory where quality control is the only law and tolerances are measured with obsession. The soul of the 870 is its receiver, milled from a solid block of high-strength steel, not aluminum like its competitors. When you rack that slide, pulling the foreign back with authority, the sound ain't just noise. It's a metallic, industrial, resonant clack-clack that travels through the joists of your house. It's a sound that tells an intruder, without ambiguity, that he has made a fatal judgment error. Mechanically, this beast is built to withstand decades of abuse, featuring a heavier trigger spring for a more deliberate trigger pull and a specialized lifter spring that ensures the shell elevator never fails, even when you're cycling the action like your life depends on it, which, for home defense, it does. The loadout is simple: 12-gauge buckshot moving at 1,000 feet per second. At hallway distances, you are delivering 9 lead pellets, each nearly 1/3 of an inch in diameter, at over 100 feet per second. It's the ultimate fight stopper, providing a wall of lead that compensates for the shaky aim of a terrified defender. While it's heavy, hovering around 8 pounds, that weight is a physical blessing. It soaks up the punishing recoil and allows for faster follow-up shots than a light aluminum pump gun. Whether it's a vintage Parkerized model or a new professional build, the 870 Police Magnum remains the steel wall of American home defense. Rugged, uncompromising, and absolutely terrifying from the wrong end of that 18-inch barrel. If the 870 is a solid steel wall, the next entry is a futuristic fortress that packs a volume of fire no traditional shotgun can touch, wrapped in a sci-fi package. FN PS90. Arriving at number 7. Wait, the map says number 4. Boys, pay attention. We have a weapon that even in the dystopian future of 2026 looks ripped from a science fiction blockbuster set, the FN PS90. But don't let the space age look fool you. This isn't prop gear. It's an updated Cold War engineering masterclass for the modern suburban defender, originally designed for NATO vehicle crews who needed something compact enough to operate inside a tank, but powerful enough to punch through body armor. The PS90 brings a level of specialized capacity to your hallway that almost nothing else can match. The heart of the intimidation factor is the 5.7 by 28 mm cartridge. This is a high-velocity, small-caliber round that behaves more like a rifle bullet than a handgun load. It's designed with perverse terminal ballistics. Upon hitting soft tissue, the projectile tends to flip, tumble, and fragment, transferring all its kinetic energy to the target with extreme prejudice. Crucially, though, it lacks the dangerous over-penetration of a heavier 5.56 rifle round, making it much safer for those of us living in neighborhoods with thin sheetrock walls where a missed shot could be catastrophic for a neighbor. But the real showstopper is capacity. This bullpup design feeds from a translucent top-mounted magazine that holds the staggering amount of 50 rounds. 50. That's almost 3 times the firepower of your standard service pistol. In a home invasion scenario where you might face multiple threats or a prolonged siege, the psychological comfort of knowing you have 50 chances without needing a single reload is an absolute difference maker. Mechanically, being a bullpup, the action sits behind the trigger, allowing for a full 16-inch barrel in a package barely longer than a folded submachine gun. It's fully ambidextrous and ejects spent casings downward, keeping hot brass out of your face. At a market price of $1,900, it's a premium investment, but for 50 rounds of low recoil insurance, it's worth every cent. We just looked at high-capacity specialized rifle cartridges, but let's talk about the ultimate chaos termination device, a weapon that cycles faster than you can pump a traditional shotgun. Maverick 88. In its price bracket, which usually sits well under $200, the Maverick 88 stands out as a true bargain for anyone needing a budget shotgun. Think of it as the rough, no-frills cousin of the Mossberg 500. It skips some luxuries like an ambidextrous safety or interchangeable barrels, but what it lacks in polish, it makes up for in pure, unadulterated home defense reliability, farm use, or even a casual day at the range. This pump-action shotgun delivers where it counts. The action itself is smooth and intuitive. That's a huge plus for rookies who might struggle with more complex firearms. Its synthetic stock is rock hard, resisting foul weather or rough handling. While the design is strictly utilitarian, don't expect sophisticated looks. One critical detail is the factory recoil pad. It's a bit thin, especially when you run heavy loads. Your shoulder will thank you for an upgrade, but honestly, that's a minor sacrifice for such a wallet-friendly package. In my book, the Maverick 88 is the obvious choice for budget-minded buyers. It won't win beauty contests or surprise you with extras, but its reliability punches above its price class. As a home defense shotgun, it's a dependable partner you can trust your safety to. It's versatile enough for minor farm use or waterfowl with the right loads, and at the range it's just plain fun without emptying your wallet. If you want a basic shotgun that balances function and affordability, the Maverick 88 is tough to beat. Just don't forget hearing protection. We've established the reliable budget pump gun. Next, we dive into the most controversial handgun in the entire shooting world, the one piece of equipment that costs less than a new set of tires, but still cycles cheap ammo. Hi-Point C9. The Hi-Point C9 is one of the most debated pistols in the firearms community. Some swear by its reliability, while others criticize its bulky design, heavy trigger pull, and weight distribution loaded toward the top. But what cannot be denied is its accessible price. For under $200, this 9mm pistol does the bare minimum and is frequently praised for its ability to cycle even the cheapest ammunition without serious hiccups. Although the C9 isn't the prettiest or most ergonomic pistol, it does have some aces up its sleeve. It comes with a lifetime warranty, meaning Hi-Point will fix or replace it no matter how many owners it's passed through. Plus, its fixed barrel design contributes to surprising accuracy for a gun in this price range. Sure, it has downsides: limited magazine capacity, typically 8 rounds, a somewhat crude safety, and a slide that can be hard to rack for some shooters. If you need a no-frills piece of hardware that just works when you need it, and you don't mind a little extra weight, the Hi-Point C9 might be a solid option. But if you prioritize concealability, or a more refined shooting experience, you probably want to check out other alternatives in the budget range. We've seen the budget 9mm that simply runs. Now let's look at a piece of nostalgia. Something cheap, fun, and looks like it walked right off a movie set from the 1880s. Heritage Rough Rider 22 Olnauser. If you're a fan of Old West-style revolvers, the Heritage Rough Rider 22 LR is a genuine bargain. This single-action revolver brings that nostalgic charm, and on top of that, it's incredibly fun to shoot. Its construction honors the classic Western revolver design, making it a collector's piece that also functions very well at the range. The 22 LR caliber makes it cheap to feed, perfect for practice or plinking without dropping a fortune on ammo. The Rough Rider also comes with interchangeable cylinders, letting you swap to the 22 Magnum if you want a bit more zip, though it's not the ideal choice for personal defense due to the caliber limitations. It's a fantastic, inexpensive addition to any collection. Many owners appreciate its crisp trigger and balanced weight, though some point out the manual safety feels a bit out of place on this style of revolver. Still, for the price, the Rough Rider delivers a historic flavored shooting experience few other budget models can match. That revolver is for fun and history. Next, we look at the compact 9mm that punches above its weight, usually found used when money is tighter than a politician's wallet. Taurus G12. The Taurus G2C is widely known as an affordable option. New, it usually lands just above $200, but if you look in the used market, you can find it inside our budget. This compact 9mm pistol offers a solid grip, decent accuracy, and a reputation for being reliable for concealed carry. One of its highlights is the ergonomic design. The aggressive texturing on the grip ensures a firm hold, even in adverse conditions. The trigger, while not as refined as high-end options, is manageable and smooths out with use. Plus, it includes a manual safety and a loaded chamber indicator, adding an extra layer of security many users appreciate. It's one of those pistols that performs above its class, making it a great find if you can snag one used. While some argue it lacks the refinement of more expensive compacts, the Taurus G2C has earned its place as a budget-friendly, dependable choice for those seeking accessible concealed carry. There you have it. We've looked at the high-end steel that costs a fortune and the budget items that squeak by on price alone. These are tools, not toys, brother. Remember that. A cheap gun that cycles when you need it is worth more than a fancy safe queen that jams on the first cheap round you feed it. So, here's the question that'll start an argument. When the shooting starts, do you trust the high-dollar Staccato P for sheer precision, or do you rely on the brutal, simple certainty of the steel receiver Remington 870? Tell me what you're grabbing first in the comments below. Hit that like button so the algorithm doesn't bury this honest analysis, and subscribe if you want more no-nonsense breakdowns of the hardware that matters. Stay sharp.